They thought she was an easy recruit until she dominated every drill in minutes. The rain hadn't stopped since dawn, and the base smelled of wet earth and gun oil. New recruits huddled under the steel awning, their khaki uniforms already sticking to their skin. Boots scraped against concrete as the sergeant's voice cut through the downpour. "Line up, eyes front." They shuffled into formation, nervous, wide-eyed, trying to look tougher than they felt. Among them stood Maya Rios, barely 5'5", a dark braid tucked neatly beneath her cap. She carried herself with quiet focus, the kind that drew mockery instead of respect. The sergeant's gaze swept over the line like a searchlight. "You," he barked, pointing at Maya. "Name?" "Rios." "Maya Rios, sir." He smirked. "You look like you got lost on your way to the library." A few recruits snickered. Maya didn't flinch. She'd heard worse before. Much worse. The sergeant stepped closer, boots splashing in a puddle. "Let me make this clear, Rios. This isn't a summer camp. You screw up, you drag your team down. You ready for that?" "Yes, sir." Her tone was even, almost calm, and somehow that irritated him. "Good. We'll see how long that confidence lasts. Move." They sprinted across the yard as the whistle shrieked. Mud splattered, lungs burned, and the storm thickened into a gray wall. But Maya kept her pace steady, her breath measured. She'd been running in worse conditions for years, just not for medals or glory. For survival. Inside the barracks, whispers followed her. "She's too small. Bet she quits before week's end. Look at her hands, soft as paper." No one knew that Maya had once crawled through a burning building to save her younger brother. No one knew about the underground boxing gym where she trained every night, learning to fight men twice her size. No one knew that joining the military wasn't ambition. It was escape. The first test began at sunrise the next morning. The endurance circuit, 4 miles, 10 obstacles, full pack. Most recruits groaned. Maya quietly adjusted her straps, tightening them until they bit into her shoulders. The whistle blew. Chaos erupted. Boots thundered. Orders were shouted, and mud became quicksand beneath their feet. Maya started near the back, not by mistake but by design. She watched how the others moved, how they stumbled on the slick planks and ropes. Her mind mapped every failure like a puzzle. By the second mile, half the recruits were gasping for air. Maya hadn't broken rhythm once. Her face was streaked with rain and grit, but her eyes were sharp. Calculating, the tall recruit named Jenkins glanced back, stunned. "How the hell are you not tired?" he panted. Maya said nothing. She vaulted a wall, rolled through the mud, and landed light as a cat. By the time the whistle sounded again, she was first to finish. The sergeant's stopwatch froze mid-click. For a moment, even the storm seemed to pause. Inside the command tent, Sergeant Dyer threw his clipboard on the table. She just smoked every drill by 2 minutes. 2. Captain Torres raised an eyebrow. "The new one?" "Rios." "Yeah, and it's not luck. Her form's textbook, maybe better." "Who trained her?" Torres shrugged. "She came from nowhere. Civilian files clean. No athletic records, no prior service." Dyer leaned back, chewing on his frustration. Then where the hell did she learn to move like that? Outside, Maya knelt beside her bunk, quietly relacing her boots. Her hands were raw, knuckles split open from the rope climb. She didn't complain. Every sting reminded her she was still here, still invisible, if only for now. She heard footsteps behind her, Jenkins again. He dropped onto the cot across from hers, breathing heavily. "Okay, Rios," he said, still half grinning. "What's your secret? You got rocket fuel in your blood." Maya smiled faintly. "Discipline. That all. And maybe," she added, tightening the knot on her boot, "a reason to never lose." That night, while the others slept, she slipped outside. The rain had finally stopped. The training field glistened under the floodlights, slick, quiet, deserted. Maya jogged to the obstacle course and began running it again. No stopwatch. No audience by the third lap. Captain Torres stepped out from the shadows, arms folded. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked. "Couldn't stop." He studied her for a moment. "You know, some recruits take months to hit your pace." "I'm not here to take months," Maya replied. "I'm here to disappear into the mission." Torres frowned. What mission? But she didn't answer. Her silence told him more than words could. The next morning began with live combat simulations. The recruits were split into two teams, red and blue, and given mock rifles fitted with laser trackers. Maya was assigned to the blue team. Sergeant Dyer made the rules clear. You get hit once, you're dead. You stop moving, you're done. Think fast, move faster. Most recruits shuffled nervously. Maya stood still, eyes fixed on the dense forest ahead where the mock battlefield was set. Jenkins, standing beside her, whispered, "Guess today's when we find out if that speed of yours holds up under fire." Maya didn't reply. She was already studying the terrain, counting trees, estimating angles, noting where visibility would break. The horn blared. Recruits dashed into the woods. Within minutes, shouts echoed through the trees. Contact left. I'm hit. Fall back. It was chaos. But Maya didn't panic. She crouched low, boots silent in the mud, and began to move. She didn't charge like the others. She hunted. A red team scout darted between the trees. She dropped flat, rolled, and fired. A clean tag. The tracker on his vest flashed RED to be by the 10th minute. Maya had taken down 4 opponents. When she reached the extraction zone, her team was stunned to see her alone. No backup, no noise, just results. Game over, Dyer announced, disbelief in his voice. Blue team wins. Because of Rios. The others stared, some with awe, others with resentment. Jenkins clapped her on the shoulder, grinning. You're something else, Rios. I'll give you that. But Sergeant Dyer didn't look impressed. He looked unsettled. Later that day, Dyer stormed into Captain Torres' office again. She's not normal, he said flatly. No rookie moves like that. Not even our best. Torres folded his arms. You think she's hiding something? I don't think I know. I ran her background through internal files. She's got an alias history. Rios isn't her original name. Torres frowned. Go on. Before enlistment, she was registered under Maya Delgado. The Delgado case. Ring a bell? That's the girl whose father was killed in that intelligence leak 2 years ago. Torres froze. The field agent's daughter? Exactly. Word is, her father's death wasn't random. He was exposing corruption inside the system. She disappeared right after. Torres exhaled slowly. And now she shows up in our ranks. Dyer's tone hardened. She's not here to serve, Captain. She's here for revenge. Maya could feel it, the eyes on her, the shift in tone whenever she entered a room. During lunch, conversation stopped. During drills, whispers followed. The camaraderie she'd started to earn dissolved into suspicion. Jenkins tried to stand by her, but even he hesitated now. Look, Maya, he said one night in the mess hall, people are saying things about who you really are. She stared at her tray. People talk when they're scared. Are they right? Maya met his eyes. Does it matter? He sighed. It might. If you're planning something, I need to know. Maya stood, pushing her chair back quietly. I'm not planning anything. I'm finishing something. The next day, the base held its weapons familiarization exam, a test that separated recruits from soldiers. Each trainee had to disassemble and reassemble a service rifle under time pressure, then shoot 6 targets in 30 seconds. Maya stepped up last. Dyer folded his arms, watching. Clock starts when you touch the weapon, he said coldly. Maya nodded. Go. Her fingers flew. Screws, slides, pins, every motion precise, confident, silent. In 23 seconds, the weapon clicked back together. She raised it, fired 6 rounds, and hit 6 targets dead center. The timer buzzed. The range went silent. Torres checked the monitor. Perfect score, he murmured. No miss. Dyer's jaw tightened. She's not a recruit. She's an operator. Maya placed the rifle down gently. You asked for the best, Sergeant. I just listened. That night, she sat on the edge of her bunk, unwrapping a small metal locket from beneath her shirt. Inside was a faded photo. Her father in uniform, smiling beside a much younger version of herself. She whispered softly, Almost there, Dad. A shadow fell across her bunk. It was Captain Torres. Can we talk? He said. Maya nodded, pocketing the locket. They stepped outside into the cool night air. The base lights flickered, wind humming through the chain-link fence. Torres spoke quietly. I know who you are. Maya's jaw tightened. Your father was a good man, he continued. He was my mentor before everything went wrong. I also know he didn't die in an ambush. He was silenced. Her eyes met his. Then you know why I'm here. Torres hesitated. I do. But you can't do this alone, Rios. Whatever you're digging for, it's buried deep. The people who killed him are still in power. Then I'll dig deeper. He shook his head. You're playing with fire. I was raised in it. Torres looked at her, torn between duty and conscience. If you're going after them, I can't protect you. I'm not asking you to. The next morning, Dyer called the recruits for a surprise night ops simulation. Stealth infiltration, full gear, no lights. It was unusual, even for the final phase of training. Maya suspected WHY. As they geared up, Jenkins whispered, Why do I feel like this isn't just a drill? Because it's not, she said softly. They were dropped by truck 3 miles from the mock compound. The air was cold, the forest pitch black. Halfway through the mission, gunfire erupted. Not simulated, not blanks. Real. Maya hit the ground, instincts kicking in. Stay down, she hissed. But the others panicked, scattering into the trees. Contact front. Someone screamed. Maya's pulse spiked. She knew that sound, the crisp crack of military-grade rifles, not training weapons. This wasn't an accident. She crawled toward Jenkins, who was clutching his arm. You're hit. Grazed, he grunted. What the hell's going on? She looked up at the ridge, saw movement, silhouettes, too coordinated to be random. Ambush, she said. But not for us, for me. Maya dragged Jenkins behind cover, ripped her pack open, and retrieved the signal flare. She cracked it, not to call for help, but to distract. The flare burst upward, bathing the forest in red light. The gunfire stopped, a voice echoed from the shadows. You've done well, Maya, but this is where your test ends. It was Dyer. He stepped forward, rifle aimed casually at her chest. You knew, she said, voice steady. I suspected, he replied. Now I'm sure. Delgado's daughter. You should have stayed hidden. Jenkins stared, confused. What is he talking about? Dyer's tone hardened. Her father was a traitor. Tried to expose classified operations. Cost lives. Maya rose slowly, eyes burning. He tried to expose you. Dyer smiled. Belief is a dangerous thing, soldier. Maya's mind raced. The flare's smoke thickened behind him. A perfect cover. She waited until the wind shifted, then moved. She lunged low, knocking his rifle aside, and drove her elbow into his ribs. He stumbled back, firing wildly. The bullet grazed her shoulder. She didn't stop in one motion. She grabbed his weapon, flipped it, and leveled it at him. Who else? She demanded. Who else was in on it? Dyer sneered. You think you can clean this system alone? I can start. One shot rang through the forest, then silence. When the rescue team arrived at dawn, they found Dyer's body, Jenkins injured, and Maya standing by the extraction point, bloodied but alive. Captain Torres met her with a grave look. You could have run, he said. I didn't come here to run, she replied. I came here to finish my father's work. Torres studied her, the steadiness in her eyes, the resolve that bordered on fury. You know they'll come for you now, he said. She nodded. Then I'll be ready. Weeks later, Maya stood before the review board. Officially, the report called it an operational accident. Dyer's corruption was never mentioned, but quietly, within the classified channels, Torres passed her a sealed envelope. Her next assignment, he said only one thing. Your father would be proud. Maya took the file, slipped it under her arm, and walked out without a word. Outside, sunlight cut through the cloud for the first time in days. She breathed deeply, her shoulders still sore, her hands still scarred. But her path was clear. They thought she was an easy recruit. They were wrong. She wasn't built to follow. She was built to lead and to expose the truth that others feared. And somewhere, deep in the system that betrayed her father, her next target was already watching.